Hey guys, it's Chris from Arendorf Machinery Mart. We're bringing you another video, and today it's all about compressors. I hope you enjoy. So you need a compressor, but do you know exactly what you need? Are you going to be using it day to day? Is it going to be for occasional use? Do you have a lot of space in your garage, or do you not? Does it have to be very quiet, or does it not really matter? You have to remember, the more air you're going to use, the bigger the tank and the bigger the motor. Now, these are all the things that we're going to be covering for you today. Firstly, we have the silent oilless compressors. Very, very quiet, great for home use. They are small, very portable. They are great for working late at night. They are relatively maintenance free. However, the pistons have lubrication on them, so we recommend you replace them roughly once a year, just to be safe. And they are a little bit on the smaller side, therefore the pressure they provide is also lower than your larger compressors. Okay, so on to what we call reciprocating compressors. In this category we have direct drive, we have VHeads and upright heads. So let's start off with the direct drive. So the way these work, instead of using a belt, the crankshaft connects directly to the motor, which then pushes out your compressed air. These are especially great for home and DIY use, especially some small projects that you might want to do around the house. They give a good CFM delivery, very reliable due to there being not so many moving parts. However, they are a little bit on the smaller side, so they are not suited for the more demanding air tools. They are the general recommendation for a lot of customers, so weigh out the pros and cons and see what works for you. Okay, so the other kinds of reciprocating compressors, we have the VHeads and the upright heads. Now these are both belt driven, so the way this works is your belt is connected from the motor to the pump. So essentially when the motor runs, your belt will run, which is then connected to the pump, which will then pump out your compressed air. Let's start off with the upright head. So the way this one works, it has two pistons next to each other running like this, which then produces your air. These are both very good for small business, even home DIY use, depending on what you're going to do. However, the upright compressor does run a little bit hotter, which therefore produces a little bit more moisture in your tank, versus the V-head, which pistons run opposite of each other, like this, and it does have a little heat sink in between. Now this does cause for a little bit of air loss in between, roughly around 5%. However, it does run cooler, which means that you are not producing as much moisture in the tank, which then also means that you do not have to drain the tank as often. Now these both have very good CFM delivery. They both come in larger sizes, so they are pretty much perfect for anything you are looking to do. Okay, so over here we have the rotary screw type compressor. Now these are typically for your larger businesses. The way they work is they have two rotary pitch screws running clockwise and anti-clockwise, intertwining with one another, essentially pulling the air up and then pushing it forward, giving you your compressed air. Now these are brilliant for continuous use, so they do not have to cool down. They are very, very energy efficient, and they tend to run quite quiet. So they are pretty much perfect for any type of use case that you're looking for. Okay, now another very important thing I spoke about earlier, we call duty cycle. Now, duty cycle is essentially the time that your motor is going to run within a 10-minute span. But this is expressed as a percentage. So therefore, if your compressor is a 60% duty cycle, that means your motor will run for 6 minutes out of those 10, and the other 4 minutes it will cool down. So 60% being 6 minutes and 40% being 4 minutes. So I mentioned CFM a little earlier in the video. You're probably not exactly sure what this is. So it's just an abbreviation for cubic feet per minute. Essentially, it's just how much air your compressor can push out per minute. Now, depending on the tool you are using, each tool has a CFM rating. For example, the spray gun over here might have a CFM rating of 8. Therefore, your compressor must have a CFM rating of higher than 8. If it is 8 or lower, your compressor is unfortunately too small or not powerful enough. So, how do you use CFM when choosing your compressor? Essentially, you're going to find the individual CFM ratings for each of your tools And if you are using them simultaneously, you're going to add them together. So if one is 2 and 3, you're going to plus them together to get 5 CFM, and you're going to want at least a 30% buffer, which means that you want a 30% higher CFM rating on your compressor to be able to use these tools. Now, another very important thing about your compressor is you should never forget to maintain or service it. And when I'm talking about servicing, I mean replacing the air filter, I mean replacing the lubricant, and I mean draining your tank. We recommend on a daily basis, but if it is occasional use, it might not be necessary because the moisture buildup. If it is very, very occasional use, then annually should be enough. But if it is day-to-day use, you should definitely service it quarterly, so 4 times a year. And lucky for you guys, we have a spares and repairs center here at the head office of Ardendorf, where if you need anything, you can bring it to us. Okay guys, you are now all clued up on compressors. We hope this video helped. We are going to link the compressor category down below. And if you do require any sort of other assistance, please feel free to go to any one of our branches across the country, and the salespeople will be more than willing to help.